Since the beginning of humanity, the Quran warns us about an invisible enemy, whose existence and cunning have been the greatest challenge for humankind. Iblis, known in the West as Satan. The Quran recounts that, after refusing to bow before Adam, Iblis was expelled from paradise, but not without receiving a dangerous concession from Allah. Time until the day of judgment to tempt and lead humanity astray. He said, "Then grant me respite until the day they are resurrected." Surah Al-Araf 7:14. With this concession, Iblis began his reign of deceptions and spiritual traps, inciting evil, dividing humanity, and sowing chaos. But where does Satan operate from? Is his power merely spiritual, or has he found a physical place to consolidate his dominion? Is there a place in this world where Satan sits on his throne? The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said in an authentic hadith, "Satan places his throne over the water, then sends out his helpers to cause trouble. The closest to him are those who cause the most discord." Sahih Muslim 28:13. With this hadith, the mystery deepens. What does it mean that Satan has his throne over the water? Is the sea merely a symbol of the immensity of his power, or is there something more? In this story, we dive into the dark possibility that Satan, from his hidden throne over the sea, is acting in ways we could not have imagined. And what occurs from there could be more terrifying than we believe. The sea has always been a powerful symbol in human cultures. Its vastness, its unfathomable depths, and its ability to destroy anything that ventures too far have been the subject of myths, superstitions, and legends. But in Islam, the sea holds a deeper meaning. The Quran mentions the sea on several occasions as a manifestation of Allah's power. In Surah Al-Kahf 18-60-82, we find the story of Moses, who embarks on a spiritual journey that leads him to meet Al-Khidr near the sea. This narrative symbolizes how divine knowledge and tests of faith often reveal themselves in moments of great uncertainty, and at times near the waters. However, there is something more about the sea. Why did Satan choose the sea as his throne? Is it simply because water covers most of the world, giving him a strategic position, or is there something in the depths that connects to the invisible world? Over the centuries, Muslims and Islamic scholars have speculated about this mystery. Some believe that Satan's throne in the sea is a metaphor for chaos, disorder, and the uncontrollable nature of evil. Others, however, suggest that the sea might be a portal to another dimension, a threshold between the visible and the invisible, where jinn and other dark beings dwell. But what exactly happens from there? If Satan has his throne over the sea, what acts of evil is he perpetrating while humans remain unaware of his influence? The Quran warns us again and again about Satan's deceptions. Verily, Satan is an enemy to you, so take him as an enemy. Surah Fatir 35-6. But to what extent are we aware of his power and the strategies he uses against us? The hadith mentioning Satan's throne over the sea has left many scholars wondering about the true meaning of this image. Is it literal or symbolic? The answer could be more complex than we think. To understand this throne, we must remember that Satan is a master of deception and seduction. The throne, in ancient times, was always a symbol of power, authority, and control. Satan would not have a throne if it were not to govern and direct. But whom is he governing? According to many accounts, Satan sends his helpers from this throne to sow discord on earth. The Quran also mentions the jinn, invisible beings created from fire, some of whom follow Satan in his rebellion against Allah. These jinn act as his servants, executing his will on earth. And I did not create the jinn and mankind except to worship me. Surah Adh-Dhariyat 51-56. The jinn are an essential part of Satan's plan. They are his invisible servants, infiltrating the hearts and minds of humans to lead them astray. What if this hidden throne in the sea were not just a command center, but a portal from which Satan sends his legions to corrupt humanity? In the vast immensity of the ocean, far from the eyes of men, Satan could be gathering forces for his greatest attacks. But how do these attacks manifest? How do these invisible beings act in our daily lives without us noticing? The Quran teaches us that Satan has no direct power over believers, except if they deviate from Allah's path. Indeed, my servants, no authority will you have over them, except those who follow you of the deviators. Surah Al-Hijr 15:42. However, those who follow Satan, whether willingly or not, fall under his influence. The throne over the sea, then, could be the center from which Satan unleashes the temptations that lead people away from faith. Some scholars suggest that natural disasters and tragedies that occur at sea, sudden storms, shipwrecks, inexplicable disappearances, could be manifestations of Satan's influence. The storm that destroys families, the ship that vanishes without a trace, and the tragedies that shake the coasts are signs that an invisible battle is being waged from Satan's hidden throne. But Satan does not only act at sea. From his throne, he sends his servants to the farthest corners of the earth to sow discord. In wars, family divisions, and the corruption of hearts, do we not see the hidden hand of evil? What role does the sea play in all of this? The Quran mentions that on the day of judgment, the seas will boil, the skies will tear apart, and the hearts of men will be filled with fear. When the seas overflow and the souls are gathered. Surah Al-Infitar 82-34. Is it possible that Satan's throne over the sea is a prelude to this great day, a place where evil concentrates before being unleashed in its purest form? Throughout history, there have been accounts of sailors and fishermen claiming to have seen or felt something inexplicable in the depths of the sea. While many dismiss these stories as superstitions or the delusions of exhausted men, what if there was some truth to them? One of the most disturbing accounts comes from a Muslim fisherman in the Indian Ocean who was found floating in his boat weeks after his ship sank in a storm. The fisherman, in a state of shock, described seeing a dark throne floating above the waters as waves hit his boat with supernatural fury. He recounted how invisible creatures seemed to be working from beneath the water to bring his ship to ruin. Is this simply a hallucination, or was he witnessing something more? Was he seeing Satan's throne or some reflection of his influence? Another intriguing testimony comes from a crew of merchants who disappeared in the Red Sea for several days. When they finally returned, they recounted being chased by shadows that seemed to move beneath the surface of the water. These shadows, they said, appeared to guide them toward a storm, as if something was attempting to cause them to shipwreck. Though all survived, the captain claimed to have seen a dark figure above the waters, silently watching them as they struggled to maintain control of the ship. What is really happening in the depths of the sea? These stories make us wonder, if Satan truly has a throne over the water, what kind of power is he unleashing upon the seas and humanity? The Quran constantly warns us about Satan's traps. But if Satan has a throne over the sea, then he must have a plan. What is that plan? What is Satan plotting from his hidden throne to lead humanity away from Allah's path? In the hadith, it is mentioned that Satan sends his servants to cause trouble, and the closest to him are those who cause the most discord. What kind of discord is Satan planning from his throne? If we look at the world today, do we not see increasing division, hatred, injustice, and chaos everywhere? From wars to family conflicts, it seems humanity is becoming ever more distant from the peace and justice that the Quran urges us to follow. Is this part of Satan's plan? Is he using his throne over the sea to manipulate events on earth and lead humanity to its destruction? The Quran also speaks of the day of judgment, when Satan will be defeated and those who followed him will be condemned alongside him. On that day, Satan will say, "Indeed, Allah promised you the truth. I too made promises, but I deceived you. I had no authority over you except to call you, and you responded." Surah Ibrahim 14:22. If Satan knows that his time is limited, what might he be doing to maximize his impact before the end? Is he using his throne over the sea as the center of his final plan to lead humanity astray? Islamic scriptures, like many other religions, speak of the end of times. In this great final, a final battle between good and evil will take place, and Satan will be finally defeated. However, could it be that this battle begins in the sea from Satan's throne? In Islamic prophecies, it is mentioned that great signs will appear before the day of judgment: natural disasters, social chaos, and growing despair among humanity. When the seas overflow, Surah Al-Fatir 82-3 is a clear sign that something will radically change in the oceans before the end of times. Many Islamic scholars believe that the sea will be the stage for catastrophic events in the last days, and if Satan has his throne over the sea, would it not make sense for the final battles of humanity against evil to begin there? Are we prepared for what is to come? If Satan truly has his hidden throne over the sea, what does this mean for the future of humanity, and for those who seek to follow Allah's path? After exploring the possibility that Satan has a hidden throne over the sea, we must ask one final question: is it real? If Satan has a throne, whether symbolic or literal, over the sea, then what is happening there could be affecting our lives in ways we cannot even imagine. The Quran and hadiths warn us of the power of evil and the need to always remain vigilant. If Satan has a throne from which he directs his servants to cause discord, then we must be prepared. We cannot afford to be deceived. But what can we do? As Muslims, the Quran offers us guidance. We must hold fast to faith, avoid temptation, and remember that Satan only has power over those who stray from Allah's path. And say, "My Lord, I seek refuge in you from the whispers of the devils, and I seek refuge in you, my Lord, lest they come near me." Surah Al-Mu'minun 23-97-98. With this supplication, and with the knowledge that Satan may be acting from his throne in the sea, we must remain steadfast in our faith, always aware that the true battle is spiritual. And though we cannot see the hidden throne, its effects are evident in the chaos that surrounds us.